Hi, this is Liz Jelinek, and this is the final video for my pilot study using play building as my art space research method. The purpose of this study was to observe Hellinger's orders of love in a constellation showing a participant's family of origin using Playmobile figures to represent her family members. The participants in this study were a group of 4 female volunteers plus this researcher. The women had varying levels of experience with constellations, ranging from a relative newcomer to a certified constellation trainer and facilitator. Although the intent was to do only one constellation, consensus dictated that each participant be given the opportunity to set up her own constellation, then one would be picked to be videotaped at a later date, which is today. The participants were instructed to choose Playmobile figures to represent their family members, keeping in mind that each family member has the right to belong to his or her place in the family. According to Hellinger's orders of love, every person has an equal right to belong to the family system, and those who were born first come first. Hellinger suggests that when the natural order is not honored, disharmony tends to result. There are many different ways to ignore these orders of love, and some common ways are when an aborted or miscarried child is not honored, when a child dies at birth or shortly thereafter and is forgotten, or when a family member is banished or excluded. Although it was not examined in this study, it is interesting to note that 4 of the 5 participants had lost a sibling at birth or shortly thereafter, and the brother of the remaining participant was excluded from the family. Due to time constraints, vignettes of the constellations could not be completed at that time, so each participant was asked to email or fax her vignette to this researcher, and one would be chosen to be videotaped at a later date. The Playmobile figures were laid out on the table like this, with all the colors together, and then over here we have the children's colors, and you can see they're a little bit different in size. I don't know. This video is based on the vignette submitted by participant number 1. She's been involved with Constellations work for about 3 years now, mostly for personal growth. She's a 49-year-old divorced female with no children. Both her father and mother were in the home as she was growing up, and she's the youngest of 4 children with 2 older brothers and a sister. Her oldest brother left home at 17 and moved across the country, where he's remained ever since. She admitted he was often known as the black sheep of the family. She selected adult Playmobile figures of different colors and 1 child figure for herself. She placed the small figure for herself in the middle and her family members around in a circle, except for 1 male figure who was outside the circle, facing away from the family. She moved the figures around in different patterns, while the banished brother always remained separated from the rest of the family. At one point, she took the figure for herself and approached the figure for her oldest brother, the one that was excluded. Her figure faced his figure, and she bowed very slightly, which is a sign of respect for the other's pain. It's a convention in constellations. Then she moved the 2 figures back to the family unit, and this time all members were in the circle, including her previously excluded brother, and she took her rightful place as an adult in the circle of the family system. A healing resolution took place, and the order was restored to her family. Well, I just wanted to take a minute and talk about what a fantastic experience this was for me. I learned so much about things I never expected to know about. I was able to combine many of my previous talents from the theater, from my days as a writer, director, and also from psychology. I hopefully learned some new video editing skills that I'll certainly be able to use in the future, especially as I become a trainer in constellation circles. I made some mistakes and I learned from them too. In the future, I would definitely get a stronger commitment from the volunteers that guaranteed at least 3 different meetings as is suggested in the play building model. And next, I would make sure that all the vignettes were completed right after each constellation was done. Then I would videotape everything, the entire process, that I could use as field notes. So if I needed information to create case studies later, that data would be available to me. And now I really would like to thank Danielle, Arpana, and all my cohorts in our art space class for the amazing attention, their questions, your feedback, everything that you have given me. It was really invaluable, and I can't thank you enough. Especially the questions. When you didn't understand, it helped me to understand what I needed to know in order to communicate it to the community at large. I found a way by answering your questions to express things that were second nature to me. And so